Here's Goodnight Olive making her move to take the lead by a head around the far turn. Race Kane has nearly 10 lengths to make up, so does Scooby Quando, verifying the leader. Top of the stretch, Cabot Trice is coming onto the outside. Up to the mark is running late behind Master of the Seas. Set piece down the center of the course. Master of the Seas alongside Annapolis. Here's Elusive Princess coming after Maj, and Mission of Joy tries to find room between that pair. Maj has the lead. Mission of Joy second, Elusive Princess third. The champ in front. Goodnight Olive chased all the way. Cabot Trice! Cabot Trice wins the Toyota Bluegrass.
And welcome in, everyone, to the Keeneland Look Ahead podcast. I'm Jeremy Plonk from Horse Player Now. Great to be with you for the preview of day 11 of 16 of the spring meet at Keeneland. Friday's card for April the 19th features the Doubledogdare Stakes. A little history. Doubledogdare is not what somebody asks you to do when they want you to get yourself in trouble. It's the name of a star race mare back in the 1950s. Not only did she win the Alcibiades Stakes at Keeneland, she won the Ashland, she won the Spinster. That's the trifecta for the big distaff races here at Keeneland. She did it in 1955 and 56. So the Doubledogdare Stakes, a little history lesson. That will be the feature race coming up today on our preview today for the Friday card. That'll be race number 9 of 10. We've got a 10-race program for you. We'll take you through all of the handicapping insights for those 10 races, the stats and trends that may apply. We'll also look at the other handicappers in the Keeneland selectors box and see how we bounce our ideas off of each other. In terms of weather for Friday, hate to say it, but it looks iffy. It's going to be raining overnight in Lexington by all forecasts. The rain is supposed to subside late morning, break up before we get to race day. What kind of conditions that's going to leave, we're going to have to wait and see. Of course, you want to check for updated scratches and changes and course conditions. You see my Twitter handle below on X at Horseplayer Now. Also, Keeneland Racing at Keeneland Racing on X. What you want to be following to get the latest updated changes. And of course, the Keeneland.com website will keep you up to date as well. We're going to handicap like we're staying on the turf because we really want it to be on the turf for a lot of reasons. But you'll see when you get to my key plays of the day and we talk about this 10-race card. Now, we've got some carryovers to talk about on Friday as well. It was bonkers, the second half of the card on Thursday at Keeneland. Nobody hit the pick six, so the pick six carryover is going to be more than $33,000. We also have a carryover in the Toyota Super High 5, which will be the final race on the card of just under 10 grand, $97.79. But the pick six will be races 5 through 10. Final 6 on the card, races 5 through 10, $33,775 in the $1 pick six. If you're not a big pick six player, note this is not a jackpot pick six at Keeneland. It's a traditional pick six with a $1 minimum wager. So carry over in the pick six, and we'll probably try to take a swing at it as you're going to see my key plays come up second half of the card. So this might be something we want to try to approach on the Friday program. Now, taking down the pick six was not done, of course, on Thursday. Taking down the pick five almost wasn't done. The pick five paid $76,000 for a 50-cent bet on this card on Thursday. The late pick four paid $31,000. Well, how did that happen? How about a couple bombs? $52 winner and a $105 winner. The $105 winner coming on the grass. And then in the last race, $52 on the grass. What did that do to the Keeneland Turf pick three? How about $56,000 for that one on the $3 bet? I mean, we had some major payoffs on this Thursday card. Look, I got off to a great start. 3 winners in the first 4 races. Got a $10 horse that I really liked in the 4th race. And, our dream ride came from off the pace, got there for us. And I thought we were feeling good about the day. But then second half of the card, it just seemed like we ran second a bunch and the bombs were coming in. So things kind of came apart a little here. The second half of the card. Still finished with 3 winners, just a little on the negative, about $1 in the hole for the flat bet. That leaves us for the meet right now. We're at $8.36 to the good after a 3-for-9 day today. So we're still in the plus 10 days into this meet, 6 days to go, day 11 coming up. Hopefully we're going to have a big handicapping day. I like this card on Friday quite a bit. I didn't like Wednesday at all. I'm always honest with you. I liked the card today. Worked out decently. I like the card a lot more on this Friday program as we're about to handicap, as we talked about last night when we were looking ahead. Joel Rosario rode 3 winners on the card today. Big day for him. He's going to be out of town on Saturday, but we'll still get Rosario on the Friday card. Bunch of jocks headed to Oaklawn for the racing action on Saturday around the country. So we'll keep an eye out there and see, who's going to be here on Saturday, but not the big travel schedule to worry about here on the Friday program. 2 wins today for trainer Brendan Walsh. We also saw a win from Mike Maker and Wesley Ward on the card. I mentioned those 3 names in particular because earlier this week we talked about the week 3 trainers and trainers who seem to have horses left and bullets to fire late in the meet. Amongst the 5 trainers we've given you that have really had a lot of success in week 3 over the last couple of years, they accounted for 4 of the wins on the card today. Again, Walsh winning twice, and then Maker and Ward. The other ones in there, Mott and Keneally. We'll see if we can get those guys some victories here. I think Eddie Keneally might pick up a victory on the Friday card if we've got it tabbed right. All right, so let's get into handicapping this sucker. We've got 10 races starting at 1 o'clock. Again, we don't know exactly what the track conditions are going to be, but we assume there's going to be some moisture in the morning, and then we'll see how it clears out for the rest of the card. Here's the way the 10-race program at Keeneland shakes out in terms of the snapshot, where the multi-race bets are coming from. Right off the bat, the pick 5 starts. Of course, race number 2 will start the early pick 4. That pick 6, $33,000 carryover, starts in race number 6. That's also the first of 3 Keeneland Turf pick 3 races. We have 4 races scheduled for the turf. Race 2 is also on the grass. So 4 turf races. Let's knock on some wood here and try to make sure that we can stay on the grass for Friday. My first key play comes up in race number 5. 6th race will start the late pick 5. 7th race has that $200,000 guaranteed late pick 4 on Fridays. The turf pick 3 is also part of race number 7. That's my second key play. You see a pattern developing here? Turf pick 3, race 5 key play, race 7 key play. The 9th race on the card is the featured Doubledogdare Stakes. We'll talk a lot more about that one. We'll have Tom Leach check in with the jockey interview with one of the top contenders in that race. So stick around for that when we get around to race number 9. And then the 10th and final on the card is the Toyota Super High 5. Again, that carryover 97.79. It's the turf pick 3 final leg, and it's my final key play on the card. The orange races usually designate which ones are my key plays. They also happen to coincide with the turf pick 3 races. Think I like the turf pick 3 on Friday? I think so. So we're going to try to go after that one. Let's get started with the handicapping at the first part of this card, though. Right away to race number 1 we go, and I've got She Splendid on top in race number 1. This is a maiden claimer, 7 furlongs, so we know we're trying to find a little bit of a price in these kind of races. They've been prone to produce some long shots. Now, we had some scratches in the one here earlier this week that we didn't get a big price play because we're kind of left with the logicals when it was all said and done in that shorter field. This one's got a field of 8. Do we think we're going to get a huge bomber, another 10, 15 to 1 shot? Maybe not, but I think a middling price in here, number 7, She Splendid, is a horse to give an eye to. This horse ran on dirt one time and showed really good speed in the dirt race before fading at Churchill Downs. Now it's been on the synthetic since then. I don't think there's a lot of early pace in this race. In fact, there's very little of it in here. The 3's got a little bit of speed, O Macarena, but that was in route races. I kind of think the one dirt race where She Splendid showed speed is going to be the blueprint that jockey Tyler Gaffleone takes here, and I think they're going to try to send. You've got a bunch of route horses in here turning back, stretching out from 6 to 7. I kind of think She Splendid just might be faster than these, and at 8 to 1 in the morning line, that's why I'm on that one on top. Also top picking here for Scott and Kim. Again, 8 to 1 in the morning line with 3 of us picking on top. Are we going to get a big price here? Probably not, but can we get something in the 4, 5, 6 to 1 range? That seems like it could be possible. Others in here, 6, Extra Extraordinary, the 8, Greyhound Station. Extra Extraordinary, the 6 is by Violence. A sire hasn't had a lot of starters at this meet, but had a really good 2023 on the Keeneland Dirt. So I'm looking at a little bit of a pedigree play there. First time off the claim for trainer Rick Hiles. Doesn't run many these days, just 7 starts on the year, but has 2 wins. So Extra Extraordinary, maybe if you're going to find a price in here in another maiden claiming 7/8 race that's going to produce a price, Extra Extraordinary might be one to watch. And of course, coming off the race at Turfway, the Turfway horses have just been gangbusters so far this meet through the first 2 weeks of the meet. And here in week number 3, they had another big day today. So keep an extra eye on the Turfway horses. You've got to respect them. So as you look across the way there, it's the 7 on top, and Tom's got the 4, Gabby's got the 3 in race number 1. Let's go to the second race on the card. This is going to kick off the early pick 4. Again, this is the first of 4 scheduled turf races. If we're going to lose any of the races on the turf, generally speaking, turf sprints are the first races to come off. If a track is going to try to save their turf course a little bit, turf sprints tend to come off the turf more often than turf routes, because you're going to tear up more of the course in a turf sprint with the width of the course. Like all the way down the backstretch, horses are going to be like 8, 9, 10 wide, ripping up the course. Whereas in a route race, they kind of really kind of file into that 3, 4 wide path the whole way around. So the races, the turf sprints really rip up the course quite a bit. And so if we're going to lose a race on the turf on Friday, the first one that would probably come off would be the second race. But let's handicap this thing like it's going to be on the turf. And even if it goes to the main, I think number 5, Monsignor Candy, is one that you want to keep an eye on here. Monsieur Candy is a horse who's got early speed and towards the inside of the gate. I don't know what we're going to get from the first-time starters in here, the 1, 2, and 4, but the 3 doesn't have a lot of early gate speed. I think if the 5 can outbreak these first-time starters, and none of those firsters come from barns that really just like guarantee come out with early speed types. The one, Royal Carol, could come out and be a good runner. Certainly Paulo Lobo's numbers are fantastic with first-time starters, but not necessarily do we expect gate speed out of this one. Lobo teams up with Joel Rosario, though, top turf sprint rider. So the one's got to be considered in here, but I like the post position for the 5. You know, I like these posts 3, 4, and 5 when we're talking about turf sprints. Big winner out of post 4 today. Of course, it wasn't a capacity field, but that $100 horse earlier in the card did come from post number 4 in a turf sprint. But I like the 5 in here, Monsieur Candy. Again, I think this horse might be able to clear over and get to the fence and get to the hedge. And I think Lannery can get this one speed to the inside. If not, maybe in the 2 path right off of Royal Carol, the 1, the first-time starter who we're not quite sure about. The 9, Beer Run, has to be respected in here. It's Wesley Ward, John Velasquez. I can't believe they got beat today with the horse coming out of the 14. The name's escaping me right now, but we had the lead turning for home. We were 2 lengths in front with Ward and Velasquez in a turf sprint and got run down today. Beer Run could be in the same kind of situation, should be showing some decent early speed, but again, we'll be outside of the 5 in this particular spot, and I think the 5 might be able to cut the corner and pull the minor upset in here. So Beer Run has to be respected. It's Ward Velasquez. Ward wins more turf sprint races than anybody by far, so you have to respect the 9 in here, no question about that. The 10, Don Corleone, is a $1.2 million purchase who flat out hasn't panned out. You spend $1.2 million in at the OBS 2-year-old sale in March of 22, and you've got 6 starts and 1 third place finish to show for it and $18,000 back. Certainly Kaleem Shaw's looking to try to change it up here, try a turf sprint, come east with this runner after running at Oaklawn on the West Coast with trainer Peter Miller. Miller's been an outstanding turf sprint trainer over the years. We know that, winner of the Breeders' Cup turf sprint on multiple occasions. So Don Corleone's in good turf sprint hands. We'll see how he handles the grass. He's by More Than Ready. He should like the turf. That, More Than Ready ran on the main track, but almost everything he sired has been much better on the grass. So expect a decent effort out of that one. I'm trying to get a price, though, with the 5 in here, Monsieur Candy. Not a confident play, but we're going to try to beat the favorites in here. The 9 and 10 should get a lot of the betting. Cowboy Cachet picked on top in here for Rick Dutrow by Kim and by Tom. So we'll see how this one fares. Dutrow's horses, for the most part, limited starters at the meet, but they've come out running here. We did see a winner from Aqueduct win on the card today in Maiden Company. So, how did that one match up class-wise? Maybe Cowboy Cachet will match up pretty well class-wise, even coming out of the winter meet at Aqueduct. The winner today came from the Big A, and that was in Maiden Company. Interesting group in race number 2, but again, no strong opinion in there. I'm going to take my shot, though, with the 5, Monsieur Candy. Let's go to the 3rd race on the card. This is a claimer, 16,000. More of a bottom level here. We go down another tick or 2 on the rung, but this is getting down towards the bottom. You would expect horses from Turfway to be very strong in these particular spots. A Bibty, the 4, comes in from Turfway. A bit of buy, I should say. And a bit of buy is a horse who's top choice in here for Tom, myself, and Gabby. Top 3 pick for everybody across the way. 3-1 in the morning line. It's Jesus Esquivel and Luan Machado. What what a strong jockey trainer combo they've been, winning 4 of 7 in tandem together. I think this is a significant jockey change from Correa, who was riding over at Turfway. It looks like go time when Esquivel gets Machado to ride. I would expect this one to run very well. The one race over the track here at Keeneland was a good second behind Merton Merriman. It was a blowout winner back here in the spring meet of 23. That was for 25,000. So this is a lesser spot, but this horse has run well over the track. The Turfway form should hold up very well here. And this is a pretty significant class drop from those optional claimers Turfway. Last time this horse ran for Open 16, won at Turfway by 6.5. So I think the 4 a bit of buy looks like definitely the horse to beat in this particular spot. The 1 Whoop Car is 6-5 in the morning line. There have been some very short morning lines this meet that haven't necessarily turned out to be bet as hard as they, as they were projected to be. This is another. I don't think this horse is going to be 6-5. Could the horse be the favorite? Yes, but I think a bit of buy is going to get bet as well. I think they're going to be much closer to each other than 6-5 and 3-1 suggested in the morning line. Maybe you're looking at something along the lines of 8-5 and 2-1, something like that. But Whoop Car, the 1 you have to respect on the class drop. Coming in from the fairgrounds off allowance races. This is a horse who's kind of popped in previous races and just not finishing the deal in the last couple of races, didn't even pop out of the gate as well. So Brian Hernandez is going to have to get the 1 Whoop Car right into this race right off the bat. And there's some speed around, I think the 2, the 3, the 4, these are horses that all have a little bit of gate speed about them. So if the 1 Whoop Car doesn't break, this could be a disappointing run for a 6-5 morning line favorite. If they do break, though, obviously the horse is going to be a legit contender in here. If you're looking for an exacta beyond the favorites in here, again, I think the 4 and the 1 are going to be favorite for sure. The 5 Stand By You does have a win here in Maiden Special Weight Company in the 21 spring meet. Now age 6, but 2 races here at Keeneland. Ran 3rd in one of those, one back here in 2021. This horse has been based at Penn National with Todd Beatty in the past. Now a switch to the barn of Wayne Catalano. Catalano's had this horse for some time training here at Keeneland and has trained pretty well. I would expect the 5 Stand By You returning to Keeneland to like the footing again. That Penn National form's obviously not going to get a lot of respect probably from the punters, but this is a former Keeneland horse coming back to Keeneland and has trained here recently. The 5 Stand By You could be a horse for the exacta to look at, 4-5, 1-5, something like that, if you're going to try to split up the favorites in race number 3. Let's go to the 4th race next on the card and give you a look at the snapshot again as we look at this early pick 5 and early pick 4 on the first half of the program. We don't have any of our main key plays in here, but, I don't think you've got to go super deep in some of these races. Race number 2, probably 3 deep, the 5, 9, 10, maybe use the 11 in there, maybe 4 deep in that one. The first race is one that I don't think there's an absolute standout, but I don't think you really need to get past the 4 or the 1 in race number 3. So not a ton of combinations used to this point as we get to race number 4. This is a race where the 13 and the 15 in race number 4 off the also eligible list are horses you probably want to just, keep an eye on the scratches and changes here. This could be important in race number 4. The 13, Talbingo, training really well for Brian Lynch, a trainer who gets horses to fire here at Keeneland. Have run pretty well at this meet. I think the 13 could be a player in this race, first-time starter. And the 15, I think, is one you definitely want to watch. Toscano, a Vino Rosso, first-time starter for Larry Ravelli, a very sharp trainer with young, fast horses. 6 furlong maiden special here in the 4th. So if the 15 Toscano gets in, Irad Ortiz named the ride off the AE list. I think you want to watch the 13 or the 15 if either draws into this particular race. But looking at the main body of the field in race number 4, I like the 11 in here, best of what I can see. Adrift is my top pick in here. Why? Because I love the Sire Street sense. He's had such a good meet and a good run here over the past couple years. Adrift's form does not look that great off the last couple at Turfway, but the one race on the dirt is better than it looks. 7th, yes, but only beaten 3 3/4 lengths. And in that race, just finished about 3 lengths behind Run Jalen Run. Run Jalen Run's the 9-5 morning line favorite in this race. So if Adrift can make up 3 lengths on Run Jalen Run, and Run Jalen Run's had a lot of chances since that race in November and has been beaten at some shorter prices, kind of a money hole, right? A horse who burns a lot of money, Run Jalen Run. So if the 8 Run Jalen Run is 9-5 in this race, what do we make Adrift, who was 3 lengths behind, but could move up over this track being by street sense? I think it's a very interesting horse. I picked this horse a day ago, and then Justin Wojcinski, the trainer, went off and popped a $105 winner today via Turfway here at Keeneland. So I didn't even know this barn 3 for 11 on the year coming into today. Hit a winner today. I picked this horse before Wyszynski popped that big $105 winner today. I feel a little bit better about the pick now. Obviously, Rodriguez rides. I think he had Corrales was on his winner today, but he's got Rodriguez named to ride here. The jockey's ridden this horse in the past over at Turfway. But I think the 11 Adrift is interesting in here at a nice price. So this one I kind of borderline thought about making one of my key plays of the day. On the early part of the card, this is the one that gets me the most interested because 12-1 in the morning line. Again, I love that pedigree angle. You have a barn that's not well known. A lot of the people that are going to watch the races tomorrow are not going to know this guy popped the $100 winner today. So I like the 11 Adrift here in race number 4. As we go across the handicapper selectors box and check the other handicappers, we're on an island, and I like that pedigree play here. Size Lord, the 4, is the top choice. First-time starter, Doug O'Neill. O'Neill did have a first-time starting winner already this week here at Keeneland. He gets Flavian Pratt to ride. This one's been at Keeneland all the way. Hasn't been part of O'Neill's West Coast program. Of course, O'Neill was the trainer of Nyquist, the sire of Size Lord. Nyquist won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, of course, and the Kentucky Derby the next year, trained by O'Neill. So he knows the family, that's for sure, at least the sire side of things. And Size Lord, first-time starter, getting a lot of attention from our other public handicappers in here. Run, Jalen Run always seems to get a piece. That's how I've got him picked second in here. Nick's Hero's an interesting one. I think this is another one who might be one to keep an eye on, owned by the Korean Racing Authority. Ben Colebrook trains. If you remember back here several years ago, Nick's Go started his career not with Brad Coxon where he got famous, but as a 2-year-old and running here in the early part of his career at Keeneland. Nick's Go pulled a 71 upset here at Keeneland on the main track in winning the Breeders' Futurity. This is where his career got skyrocketed. It was Ben Colebrook back at that time, of course, Korean Racing Authority, the owner. Now they have Nick's Hero. There's no relation here to Nick's Go. It's more the Korean Racing Authority, and I actually think they pronounce it K-Nix. But we'll say Nick's here in the U.S., and Nick's Go, of course, is the way we all pronounced the champion horse who went on to win some big-time races and retire a multimillionaire. So Nick's Hero is a first-time starter who I think is kind of interesting in this particular spot. So there's some horses in here that I think we can kind of, respect Run, Jalen Run, but let's try to beat him again. He's been beaten many times. So it's the 9-5 morning line favorite. We're going to take 2 shots in there, the 11 and the 3. If you're playing exactas in this race, I think you want to use the 8. So 11-8, 3-8, maybe ways to approach this. And certainly I would want to get win money on a drift in here at what could be a nice price. Interesting to see how the public bets the 4 Size Lord in here with a couple of those top choices in there from Gabby and Tom. So also, again, the 13 and the 15 off the AE list. Stay flexible. Those horses you definitely want to work into your mix if one or both draw in. But regardless if they draw in or not, I'm excited to take a shot at a drift at a price, and I think we will get a price in the 4th race. To the 5th we go, and we get to our first key play of the day. It's the start of the Keeneland Turf Pick 3, also the kickoff of the carryover Pick 6. Again, $33,775 in the Pick 6 carryover, going into races 5 through 10 on this card. Now, this is a turf mile, going second level allowance here on the grass, and we've got a split division. Races 5 and 10 are the same race. We explained this the other night, but quickly again, split division means there were so many horses that entered this race when it was in the condition book, the menu that the horsemen look at to see which races are going to be offered. So many horses entered, they had enough to make 2 races out of it. So they split it, half go into one, half go into another, and we use this race twice on the same card. That's what a split division is. Races 5 and 10 are essentially the same race, a second level 1 mile turf allowance. So let's start things off in race number 5, going with number 3, Freedom's Way is the top choice. We told you about those big week 3 trainers. There's been 3 trainers at Keeneland, or 5 trainers at Keeneland over the last 3 years. In week number 3 of the meet, where we are, we're past the prime part of the meet now. We're into that blue collar part of the Keeneland season. 5 trainers have won 5 or more races in those weeks, in week 3s over the past 3 years. Eddie Keneally is one of those 5. He trains number 3, Freedom's Way. This is a horse who's run well over the course in the past, back in April of 22. Now they say, look, this is not the tougher. These are not as tough a races as the allowance races the first week or the second week of the meet. They get progressively a little bit easier as the competition lightens. Freedom's Way, I think, finds a good spot in here. Coming off a race at the fairgrounds when he was stuck out in the 11 hole, post 11 of 11. I love when a horse goes from a bad post to a good post. You expect to see some improvement just naturally, the geometry, the feet covered. You don't have to run as far. I like the fact that Freedom's Way only got beat half a length last time. 9-2, Luis Saez, good inside draw. The horse isn't a blinding front runner, but has some good early tactical speed. There's not a ton of speed to the inside. Should get a great trip all the way around there. I'm on Freedom's Way, my first key play of the day, coming up in this turf mile in a race number 5. I'm on the island here, the 3, the only one with this horse even in the top 3, and yet 9-2 in the morning line. So maybe we get an overlay price. Maybe the price will go up on this one. Bill Mott's one of the other trainers who's got a good record here in week number 3 of the meet. In fact, several of the trainers in here are amongst those we talked about. We talked about Brendan Walsh. We talked about Mike Maker and Bill Mott. Well, Walsh has the 7 and the 8. Mott has the 10, and Maker has the 9. So 3, 7, 8, 9, and 10 in this race are all trainers who have had the most success here at Keeneland. Add in Wesley Ward, and that would be the 5th, but there's no Ward in this race. But 4 of the top 5 week 3 trainers that we've seen here at Keeneland, and 3 of them have already won this week, have horses in this race. So 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to use those horses in a lot of different combinations, with Freedom's Way being my key in here. So I'd play trifecta key 3 over the 7, 8, 9, 10. Exacta keys 3 over the 7, 8, 9, 10. Maybe back it up with the 3 underneath in the exacta 7, 8, 9, 10 over 3. But that's the way I'm going to try to attack this race in this particular spot. I like the post position better on the 3. I think Keneally's got this one in a really good spot. The rider changed to Saez. Last time Ben Curtis was aboard, Saez has ridden this horse a couple times and got aggressive with them, had him in the lead in the stretch, and we can see if maybe they can put him away this time. Saez rode this horse again to a neck defeat, ran a good second here at Keeneland back in the 22 spring meet. So I like the post better than I do with some of the other horses for those top trainers. But again, we talked about Brendan Walsh. He's got the 7 and the 8 in this particular spot. Walsh had 2 winners on the card today. And again, he's one of those trainers to watch. So excited to bet race number 5. I like the possibility, even though this is a key race and you think, okay, you're going to narrow it down in here. In terms of the key, turf pick 3, I would use several of these in here. Again, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10 are for those hot trainers. Look at your affordability, how you can structure your ticket, and out of those horses, how you might pare it down a little bit. But I would use multiple horses in here in a turf pick 3. I think we got a chance to get a decent payoff in the turf pick 3. And I want to get myself coverage with those hot barns here in week number 3. So key play here, we're going to 3 on top in race number 5. We go to the 6th race next as the pick 5 starts here. Pick 5, races 6 through 10 on the card. Princess Selena, my top choice in here. We're in agreement with Scott. Wesley Ward trains. Look, we talked about the 4 big trainers in race number 5 who do really well here in week number 3 historically. The one who wasn't in that race was Wesley Ward. He might come right back and win race number 6 on the card. He's got Princess Selena in here. This one's got good tactical speed, as you always expect from a Wesley Ward trainee. 2 times she broke. She was in the mix right away. Quality road sire, good sire here at Keeneland, good on the turf, but also good on the main. This one comes via Turfway. Again, the Turfway horses are outrunning projections throughout the course of the season. So when people look down and see horses like Emery coming out of the Frizette, horses coming out of stakes races at Woodbine and Parks for Todd Pletcher, a Saratoga alumni in Kalyamata, I think Princess Selena might get overlooked just a little bit in here. The buyer figures aren't huge, so nobody's going to jump on this horse based on the figures. We might get a fair price, 5-1 on Princess Selena. That'll be my top choice in here. Kalyamata, the 1, my second pick. It's Pletcher, a street sense. The Pletchers have been a little disappointing at this meet. He's got a couple wins. Yes, he won some high-profile stakes right off the get, but he had a horse today at 4-5. He got beat by his stablemate. They're just not running through their skin like sometimes they do for Pletcher. They're running okay. They're not running terribly, but like a lot of times, you know, you'll get Pletcher, Chad Brown, these kind of trainers, Brad Cox at this meet, and everything they send out just seems to be on point. That's not the case. I mean, they're running competitively, but a horse who runs well can beat the Pletchers, and we've seen that. So while I respect the 1, certainly not conceding anything, the 3 Emerys, 4-5 in the morning line. This horse comes off a 4th place finish in the Frizette Stakes. Of course, that was the grade 1 won by Just FYI. She came back, the 2-year-old champion, Just FYI, we're talking about, to run a good race in the Ashland Stakes and set her up towards the Kentucky Oaks in her only start so far this year. But Emery hasn't been out since October. This will be her first start over the track here at Keeneland. She is training very well for Brad Cox over at Churchill Downs. I just didn't think you had to take a short price, and I think she's going to be a short price. I think we've got some better options for a 6-furlong race on the comeback. her MO is not going to be 6 furlong sprint races, Emery. Whereas I think Princessa Kalina is a sprinter. It's a Wesley Ward trainee who's, out of a Sky Mesa mare. This one is made to sprint, and Ward likes the sprinters. So I just think it's more the game for the two than it will be for the three someday. But she could win this race on pure ability. I'd have no doubt that the three could certainly win this race on the comeback. I just don't think you have to accept her as the tap and putt winner. 1, 2, 3 in some combination here, the way I have it. The 6 Rhapsody. Some respect for this one. This horse had been in Canada on the synthetic or on the turf in Canada, and has come here to Keeneland and worked a bullet for trainer Jonathan Thomas. Trainer change. He gets Frankie Dettori. Respect the trainer, respect the jockey. The 6 Rhapsody could be part of this. 2, 1, 3, and 6, I think, are all logical horses if you're looking to start the pick 5 in this particular spot. And I think it's a race you want to get a little depth to. And if everybody goes all in on Emery, if that 4 to 5 morning line holds up, I don't think it will. I still think Emery's the favorite in here, but maybe 7 to 5, 8 to 5. If Emery gets beaten here, some of these other horses might play and pay pretty well in terms of the pick 5. So we'll take our shot in here in the 6. Not a strong opinion in here, but I just think she's the sprinter in the field, taking on some other horses that are just kind of getting their campaigns restarted in this particular sprint race. Let's go to the 7th next on the card. And the 7th race is part of the early pick, or the late pick 4, I should say. First leg of the late pick 4. It's going to be the second leg of the turf pick 3. So again, races 5, 7, 10 to turf pick 3. And my second key play on the card. This is a 5.5 furlong turf sprint. There are good options in this particular race. There's no Wesley Ward in this turf sprint. So that means the public's not going to have a default kind of favorite to make in here with just taking Wesley Ward in the turf sprint. Now, I'm always looking for something good in the 3, 4, 5 hole when I can find them, but I don't want to just force it. I do like a horse, though, in post 3 in here, Ambivalent. James Graham rides 15 to 1 in the morning line. We're looking for a price from one of these power posts in the turf sprint, and we landed one. This is really the first power post, I think, of the meet where I looked and found the horse that I liked kind of without the post. Now I've got the post to go with it, and I kind of feel even better about him because this horse has really good turf form. If you go back and look, there's a couple races on the form for Ambivalent that kind of make him look inconsistent, but those were races that were not on the turf. Fairgrounds, Losau, and the dirt. Draw a line through those races. Draw a line through the race at Meydan and the UAE Derby on the dirt going a mile and 3/16. That's not his kind of race. Get rid of the Champagne and the Bob Hope back as a 2-year-old running in stakes races on the dirt. Again, just cross lines through those races, and you're going to see this horse on the turf. Third by a length, a winner. Fifth beaten 3/4, a winner. Third beaten a length. Second beaten 2. First by 3.5 last time out. This horse has never run a bad race on the turf. The form looks spotty, but the turf form is absolutely impeccable. I'm going to take a shot in here. Grant Forster's horses have been running really well at the meet with limited starters. I like the 3 Ambivalent as my real key play here so far on the card in race number 7. Scott's also got Ambivalent on top, so are we going to get 15 to 1 in the morning line? We'll see. There's other options in here. Again, I've got good options written at the top of my page here. You could go a lot of different ways. This horse may not be 15 to 1, but certainly could be in that 6, 8, 10 to 1 range, 12 to 1 with Scott and I both picking, and I'd be more than happy to jump in at that kind of price. Again, a Fairgrounds allowance winner last time out over this trip at 5.5. I'd have no problem if this horse got bet reasonably, and I would still be interested in backing. The 10 Oceanic, one to keep an eye on here. Good run here in the Woodford Stakes back in the 22 fall meet. Ran in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint off of that race here at Keeneland. Has good local form. Comes in fresh. I do not mind a layoff horse at all on a turf sprint like this. Jordan Blair trains. Raylu Gutierrez aboard. Gutierrez is riding well here at the meet. This one will be coming on at the end. Going to need a fast pace, but if Oceanic gets a fast pace, this horse should be flying on the back end. One to use of interest. Also the top pick in here for Gabby. So my first and second picks in here turned out to be Scott's top pick and Gabby's top pick in here, 3 and 10. Mark of the Z is another one with a tremendous record overall. I mean, 21 for 44. When you're a turf sprinter and a dirt sprinter and your record's 21 for 44 in the exacta, that's just fantastic. This horse has never missed a beat in the turf. Last time out in October here at the meet, just got beat half length. Mark of the Z certainly fits well in here as well. And has a little more pace versatility. I think the 10's definitely a closer. The 9's got a little pace versatility and could go a couple different directions. Number 11, Just Might, is a horse I'm taking a stand against. Has never run well here at Keeneland. 22 for 51 in the exacta. Just a tough as nails 8-year-old for Michelle Lovell. You love this horse if this race is at Fairgrounds, but the races at Keeneland just have not been kind. I just don't think Just Might likes this course as much as Just Might likes the course at Fairgrounds. So I'm going to take a shot against that one, who probably goes as the favorite based on an excellent resume. Nothing wrong with the form whatsoever for Just Might, but I'm just worried about that one over the course here at Keeneland. So that's a look at race number 7. Keeneland Turf Pick 3. I'm going to the single in here. Like I said, I had a key play in races 5, 7, and 10, part of the Keeneland Turf Pick 3. But in race number 5, I think you want to use a couple different runners in that spot. In race number 7, I'm gutsy here. I'm going single. And if we can get Ambivalent home, it's going to be a really good day for us. That's the horse we kind of hinge things off of in race number 7 in the multi-race wagers. To the 8th race we go, a mile and a 16th allowance race here. First level. This is a race where I'm losing a little bit of a handicapper's angle in here. Sprint the route, second off the layoff. I like those kind of form cycles. When you hear the word form cycle, that's just kind of like a pattern. If you look at somebody's schedule, is this their first game of a road trip? Is this their last game of a road trip? You know, if you think about it in sports terms, or the second game of a back-to-back home and home, that kind of thing like that. The form cycle is the repeating the cycle that the horses run in the past, or how they're being progressed along. In this particular case for Havilar, the 4-horse, this is the second race after a layoff. Ran in October, then came back in March. Now the second race after the layoff. You get a race back, you improve second time off the bench, and now you go sprint the route. First race back in a sprint, okay, it's shorter than we want. Next time, we're going to have this horse tight to go long. So second off the layoff, sprint the route. I love that form cycle for number 4, Havildar, and maybe I'm not even pronouncing it right, but I'll give this one a big chance for Rick Dutrow. I think could be inside speed here at a mile and a 16th. There's not a lot of pace to the inside. The 1 and 3 have no speed. The 2 hurry, maybe a tiny bit, but not that much. Dreamlike, the 3 is going to be a big favorite in here at 4-5 for Pletcher. Again, the Pletcher horses have not been running off the screen. They've been running to form or a little bit below form. And while I respect Dreamlike, who was 3rd in the Wood Memorial, almost won that race last year, comes out of the Breeders' Cup Classic, almost won the Pennsylvania Derby, beaten a half length by Saudi Crown. We know Dreamlike's good. But is Dreamlike ready to rock and roll first time back in a first level mile and a 16th allowance race? I don't think you have to take a short price here. Again, I think this horse gives you a lot to respect, but I'm not taking a short price. I'm going to take a shot with the 4 because I like the form cycle in here. Another one to watch is the 10, Cagliostro. Cherie DeVos had a good meet with a couple of allowance winners already. This is a horse very similar to Dreamlike in that it was a good 3-year-old last year, coming off the long layoff. This just looks like a place to start the campaign back. Cagliostro in the career debut didn't fire first time fresh that time. Also got beat, but ran a decent race off a mini layoff during the 3-year-old campaign. But this is the first time taking an extended break, a wide post position. I respect the 10, but between the post and this not necessarily being a must-win kind of race. For the 4, this looks like where you belong, right? A one other than allowance race. This is an expected spot. I just think the 4 is going to be tighter in this particular race and can pull the upset. If you're playing the multi-race wagers, I would use the 4 and the 3. If you want to use the 10 in here, I wouldn't argue against it. But I think you want to use the 4 and the 3 in this particular spot. If you're going to bet the 4 to win, 6-1 in the morning line, I think you want to demand somewhere right around there. You don't want to go too much lower than that. If you're going to be Dreamlike and Cagliostro, 2 proven stakes horses, you better get third choice kind of money, which has got to be at least 4-1. So anything less than 4-1, then we pass on the win play. But I would use the 4 and the 3 in the multi-race wagers. Coming up next is race number 9, the Doubledogdare Stakes. This is the feature race on the card. A mile and a 16th. This is the Breeders' Cup Distaff division, if you will. Grade 3, $300,000. And we've got some Breeders' Cup quality kind of horses in this race as we take a look at the field for the Doubledogdare. Raging Sea is a Breeders' Cup alum. She was 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies here at Keeneland back in 2022. She comes off a win in the Comely Stakes. You've got Loved in here coming out of the Molly Pitcher last year at Monmouth, but a big-time maiden winner during the spring meet for the aforementioned, much talked about Brendan Walsh. So certainly loved the top-class filly. Scylla, the 3, makes the career stakes debut after 3 starts, 2 wins, and then finished a good second last time out, well clear of the 3rd-place finisher. She's a full sister to Tacitus. She's by Tappet out of the Starmare Close Hatches. Bill Mott trains. Javier Castellano teams up here. A lot to like about Scylla in this particular race. I will say that her full brother Batten Down ran earlier this meet and was a disappointing third. I thought he was going to win that day. I thought his class would prevail in a weak race, and he got beat. But she's already proven she can run over the track with the win here and won 10 and change last year. I expect Scylla to be tough in here. She is the 8-5 morning line favorite. Hidden Connection, Curl Girl, also in this race. Hidden Connection last time out was a well-beaten runner in the Houston Ladies Classic, but that race has been very productive in producing horses for the Doubledogdare Stakes over the years. And of course, last year, Hidden Connection ran second in this race, beaten just 3/4 of a length. Tom Leach, the voice of the Wildcats and handicapper for Keeneland Select, he caught up with jockey Raylu Gutierrez in the paddock today at Keeneland to talk about Hidden Connection, last year's run in this race, and how she may fare this time around.
So let's talk about Hidden Connection in the race last year in this same race. What do you remember about that race?
We were very aggressive coming out of the gates. There's a really good horse in there for Stan Fleury that we defeated that came back the next time and won the race at Pimlico. I think it was She Dares the Devil, but really good race last year. The closer came from out of nowhere, beat me in the last couple of jumps. So we're looking forward to coming back in this race and try to get this victory.
You were on her in those last couple of starts, like the most recent one at Houston. How did you feel that she had improved from last year?
Yeah, I mean, she definitely took a step forward in her first race out. Very mature, very composed. Brett has her ready to go. The second time, I'm not sure what happened. It's just one of those things where it's like any athlete. You have a good day, you have a bad day, and I suppose she had a bad day that day, but that's not in any way, shape, or form characterizes her.
What's the key to getting her best run?
I think Brett has her ready to go as usual. Brett and his staff did an amazing job preparing her, and they know her inside out. We have a favorable post position, and I think she's been here at Keeneland. She's settled in, so I think that'll absolutely help her have a good race.
Have you been on her in the mornings?
I was on her a couple weeks ago, and like I said, Brett has her really healthy, really happy, so we just hope for the best result.
And as we resume our handicapping to race number 9, thanks to Tom Leach for the interview there. We've got, I think, 4 legitimate contenders in this spot. The 1 Raging Sea, the 3 Scylla, the 4 Loved, and the 6 Hidden Connection. I could see any one of these 4 winning this race. I went with Raging Sea. One of the determining factors for me was the fact that she's by Curlin. The sire Curlin has sired the winner of this race 3 times in the last 5 years. The Curlins have been outstanding. They get a little bit older. The Curlins get better with age, as my podcast partner Jeff Siegel likes to say, and he's never seen a Curlin that doesn't improve as they go a little longer and they get a little older. Raging Sea, I think, with the inside post, can save some ground under Flavian Pratt, keep that Curlin streak going. Curl Girl in this race is also by Curlin, but I just don't think the form's quite as good with that one. But Curl Girl does have a win over the track here at Keeneland. Again, this is a race where you've got good options. Scylla could be any kind in here. She's bred to be absolutely blue-blooded to the nines, and she has done very little. She's a neck away from being undefeated. She's done very little wrong in 3 starts for a Bill Mott barn that you have to respect. Loved has run so well over this track, winning by 11 lengths last spring. By Medaglia d'Oro, another Godolphin Blue Blood. Brendan Walsh having a good week already. Again, we talked about his week 3 success. I could absolutely see the 4 in this particular spot. And the 6 Hidden Connection, she fits the bill for this race. And she almost won it last year when Frost Point came and got her. I think she won the battle but lost the war that day. We will see. I think there's going to be more pace in this race. I don't think she's going to be quite as forward as she was last year. I think the 4 Loved and the 5 Saddle Up Jesse are going to show some speed. Hidden Connection should be close to the front, but not necessarily walking a slow lead like she did last year. Splits last year were 48-1, 112. They're going to go quicker than that this time. So it'll be a little different race shape for Hidden Connection, but I think she's a factor in here. If you're playing the multi-race wagers, I think you want to go a little deep in here. We only went 2 deep in the 8th race. We're taking the Gutsy single in the 7th race. This is a race in race 9, even though it's only a field of 7. I do not feel good if I don't get at least 4 of these in here. I want to use the 1, the 3, the 4, and the 6. If that prohibits you from playing a ticket because it's getting too many combinations and stretches your budget, then you're in a situation to pass, because I just don't think this is a race where you just cut. I think you want to get coverage in this particular race because it's well-deserved coverage. Hidden Connection could be the price of those four, though. I think she will be the best price of those four. And for an exacta, that's the one you want to try to get in there to break up some of the other lower prices. So race 9, if you're looking to hammer this one, maybe you look to some daily doubles or exacta plays intra-race. Keep an eye on the board, see what provides the best value for you. But again, there's not a lot separating the 1, 3, 4, or 6 in race number 9. I wish I could be more definitive for you, but I'm taking the Curlin. I'm taking Raging C, who's got the win over the track here at Keeneland and has run well here, Chad Brown. So I'll take the one Raging C, saving some ground. Let's go to the final race on the card, race number 10, Toyota Super High 5 race. Again, carryover just under $10,000. It ends the Turf Pick 3, and it's my final key play on the card. This is the split division of race number 5. We're looking at Turf Milers in this particular spot, and I'm on a Brendan Walsh trainee. Again, I was looking for Brendan Walsh to have a good week 3. Today, he popped 2 winners already. Hopefully, the champagne's not out of the bottle already, and he's got another 1 or 2 to uncork because I've got his 6th horse in here, Loyal Company. Tyler Gaffleone rides. This horse just finished a neck behind the 1, Balloony, last time in a race down at Gulfstream Park. 10-1 in the morning line on Loyal Company. Balloony is 9-2 for Chad Brown. I think we're going to get a better price than the Chad Brown trainee. Similar horse, better value. You want the Gulfstream horses in these turf allowance races at Keeneland, or in a mile race, you're looking for a horse coming off the long layoff, extended layoff from last year. Don't be afraid of a long layoff in a turf mile here at Keeneland in Allowance Company. To the picks for the crew across in race number 10. Wicked Finn, top pick for Scott. Balloony for Tom. Both I and myself and Gabby are on the 6th, Loyal Company, and Northern Invader top pick in here for Kim Nelson. So 5 handicappers, 4 different horses picked on top. This looks like it's going to be a good betting race in this particular spot. I'm going to trust the 2 horses coming out of the same March 2nd race down at Gulfstream. I've got them picked 1, 2 in here, but give me the value play, Loyal Company, the 10, or the 6 horse, I should say, at 10-1. A lot of good options underneath in here. I've got it 6, 1, 11 on the screen. I also thought the 3 and the 7, Wonderful Justice and Scooby Quando, were horses that you want to look in here to play. So for me, I'm going to attack this from a trifecta standpoint. A 5-horse trifecta box, or 5-horse trifecta key used to be one of my favorite bets in racing back in the days when trifectas were $1 minimum. Now that they're 50-cent minimums, I don't think we get quite the bang for our buck that we used to in terms of the returns of paying what they should. But in this particular race where I've got a 10-1 on top that I like, it's a win bet on Loyal Company. And then I'm going to key that one over those other horses that I like in this particular spot. 6 over the 1, 11, 3, and 7. That's 4. 6 over 4 different horses. That's a $12 play for $1, $6 play for 50 cents. So that's a good trifecta key for me in this particular spot. If you're going to throw another one in to go 5 deep in here, maybe the 9 Wicked Finn, take that price shot of Scott's. Another one coming out of Gulfstream Park and coming out of some similar races, gets good speed figures. So the 9 Wicked Finn, maybe one to throw in underneath if you want to go a little deeper in the trifecta key. But I'm all in for the 6 Loyal Company in the nightcap. We'll try to get Brendan Walsh rolling again here with a couple shots on this Friday program. So that's going to wrap things up. Again, reminder, carryovers for Friday, $33,775 in the pick 6. In the Super High 5, it's $9,779, race number 10. Super High 5 is that 10th race. So I've got 5 of them for you. 6, 1, 11, 3, 7. That's how we're going to go. Straight ticket in the Super High 5 carryover in the nightcap. Thanks for listening in, everybody. We're going to be back tomorrow to preview the Saturday card. Big Saturday program includes the Elkhorn Stakes and the Ben Ally. Big program there with 2 stakes races. So the final Saturday card of the season at Keeneland, that's what we'll preview when we join you at 8:30 Eastern on Friday night. Reminder, closing week at Keeneland will be 3 days of racing, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So this is preview that we're doing tonight is day 11 of 16. We'll still have 5 cards to go after we get through the Friday program. We'll talk to you tomorrow night, everybody. Have a great evening.